Hey there, everybody. Welcome to what is an emergency Blacklist video update because the news just came out this morning that Megan Boone is reportedly leaving the show and her role of Liz Keene at the end of this season.
Yeah, and Deadline first reported this, and we're going to be talking about, why is she leaving? Why is Megan Boone leaving the Blacklist? And sort of our thoughts about, going forward. What is it going to look like? Are people going to be okay with this? Is it going to have to really change sort of the fabric of the show, because the show has been about Liz and Reddington and their relationship for 8 seasons. So what is the show going to look like going forward?
We have a lot to dive into here. I mean, we are still kind of in the spot of mentally processing this.
Yeah, we're having a coffee this morning, we're getting ready for breakfast, and then boom, Deadline.
We ate so fast. This is like the fastest breakfast. I was like, we got to get to talking about this.
Yeah. We had seen comments already coming in while we were trying to eat. So yeah, we sped through our breakfast. We are here with you guys. We will not let you down.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? If you guys do enjoy this discussion, hit that subscribe button. Thank you to everyone who has gotten us to 50,000 subscribers. We also have our full review of The Blacklist, Season 8, Episode 21, coming tomorrow night after that episode airs.
Yeah, and we're covering The Bachelorette this season. We have a new review up on the site, or up here at the channel. They're up every Monday after the episode, and tonight is the finale of Handmaid's Tale. So if you're also watching that, we are here for that.
Busy week, and that wasn't even accounting for this just bombshell that came out earlier this morning.
Yeah, so Deadline has reported that Megan Boone is leaving, that this was planned before the season 9 renewal even came out.
So if we're to sort of extrapolate on this, and some of this is just theoretical, I'll put that out there first and foremost, but it feels to me like Megan Boone is a professional. She's been doing this for a long time, even before the Blacklist. I feel like there were probably at least some discussions before season 8 even started that were kind of about planning the future, and I gotta feel like this is something that they knew was possible, and at the very least they probably planned this season thinking, okay, we may be losing Megan at the end of it.
The other thing that I found really interesting about this report is Deadline has reported that this is happening, but NBC and Sony have said nothing. So it is not through either of them. They have said nothing. They have commented nothing. There is nothing from them at this point.
Here is my thinking if you're NBC or you're Sony. You are probably like banging your head against the nearest wall because you're probably like, thanks, now our big reveal at the end of this season is gone, and we obviously don't know how Megan's going to be written out of the show, but now everybody is going to... Yeah, we're going to go into the finale knowing, well, it's goodbye Liz Keene now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's obviously been some smoke around this for a while. We had a whole chunk of this season where she was just gone, and a lot of people, including us, were kind of speculating about whether or not they were testing the waters to see if the show can still go on without her, if the ratings would still be the same. And then people have seen on her Instagram that she had this sort of, season 8 is wrapped kind of party, but it was a little bit strange, and people were like, it kind of feels like maybe it's a goodbye forever party. I don't know. And then this comes out.
It's funny because when those photos showed up on Megan's Instagram, because she had like the separate one with the Diegos, she got some with Amir. And I really convinced myself that something else may be happening. Like, I was in the camp of, okay, it's been a very long season. They found a way to do all these episodes with everything going on with the health crisis. Maybe they're just like taking in a big sigh of relief that it's all over.
I was worried when she disappeared for so many episodes that they were testing the waters to see if people would continue to watch the show. And of course they were going to. This is the weird thing about it, if it was a test, is that I think people knew that she was going to come back. She wasn't just gone for weeks on end and they weren't going to say anything. And then she came back. So I think and it seemed like in the comments here at least that people were really kind of conflicted about it, where they're like, oh, the show is so much better now that she's gone. There's a lot of people that don't like Liz, and I'm sure that weighs on Megan. But then there's other people like me that like Liz. I like the Liz and Reddington dynamic. I watched the show for them and the back and forth between them. I really like it.
That's what makes this exit, so tricky in just sort of thinking, okay, what does the show become when you don't have that Liz and Red dynamic, it is essential. That is everything that Red has been building towards. That is why he showed up, because of Liz Keene being at the FBI.
Yeah, so in the report, it was also said that this decision was mutual. So this is where we're sort of gonna get into why is Megan Boone leaving the Blacklist? Because she hasn't said anything. The report hasn't said anything. But there's enough smoke out there for us to kind of hypothesize why she has left. Because I think it's more complex than just, oh, she wanted more money, or, oh, she's having, so many fans hate her. I think there's just a lot of different moving parts to this that brought it to this spot. And so the first thing I want to talk about is Megan possibly feeling the fan pressure from the community of people that just hate Liz and hate the character. I mean, we even see it here in the comments. Oh, I hope the character gets killed. I hope she dies. Like, it's dark, man. Like, there is a group that really dislike her, and this has been going on for a couple years now. And if you're Megan as an actress and you're watching people hate you week in, week out, day after day, just negative about your character, it's gonna weigh on Megan as a person as well. And one of the references that I always go to with stuff like this is Jack Gleason from Game of Thrones. He has said, and is retired from acting because he played Joffrey on Game of Thrones, and he said that the hate that came from playing that character on him as a person away from the show was just too much. And he was playing a legit villain.
Yeah.
Liz is not. Liz has started out as an FBI agent. Yes, she has gone darker, but so is Red. Red is a good guy, also kills people. They're both very complex characters. They're not all good. They're not all bad. But I wonder if this is part of the reason that she's like, you know what? I just can't anymore. It's too difficult to be dogpiled every day.
I think when you get into acting and you make that decision, I don't know when Megan decided, oh, I want to be an actor for my career, I think you have just a fundamental part of you that's like, I want to make people happy. I want to make people feel entertained and, where they appreciate what I'm doing for them. And I'm sure that sense of self-gratification is important. And sort of like you said, if you go online and you see all this, the relentless hate towards Liz, I'm sure it does weigh on her. And this is a part of the problem here, is that I don't think a lot of the problems with Liz originate from Megan or Megan's performance. I think they originate from the fact that this show has not given Liz a consistent point of view in years. She's just all over the place all the time, so it's hard to really get inside her head.
Yeah, I think it's just you have her as the female lead against James Spader, who is the male lead, and his character is very well-rounded. There are so many layers to him, and he is such a rich character.
Yeah.
Then you have Liz, who started on a really good path of sort of this bright-eyed, FBI agent who has this master criminal that's come into her life, and there's this mystery between them. But then when we start to get into the later seasons, she's so only focused on the secret and the mystery that all the layers they were building all just kind of dissipated. And that's why for years I've been saying they should have wrapped this secret up years ago and opened up something else, because it would have given Liz less of a one-track mind and been able to put layers on her.
Yeah, and ultimately, the other sort of school of thought here, this is the part that kind of confuses me, because you mentioned, okay, this is a mutual decision, and I don't think NBC hates Megan and wanted Megan off the show. I don't think Sony hates Megan and wanted her off. If that was the case, they would have gotten rid of her years ago, and I haven't heard anything about Megan being, some sort of problem or anything like that. So I think if this is mutual, maybe Megan, like you said, was sort of feeling this frustration, this aggravation of playing such a polarizing character, and maybe NBC and the studio were like, okay, this show is later on in its run, its ratings aren't that great, you kind of get increasingly more expensive to put on the longer you go on the air, and maybe for them this was okay, we want to do another season, we got to find a way to kind of cut costs. Megan wants out of the show, we save a good bit of money. If Megan ends up leaving the show, we will be okay with this decision. Like, that's the only way if I'm like Sony or NBC where I can kind of rationalize losing the female lead and major focus of your show almost a decade into your run.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of talk online. I mean, it's just talk. There's been no confirmation that she's like, I need this amount of money or anything like that. It's been a lot of just speculation and talk and rumors that, she had wanted to be paid more, which is something that I've been very vocal about here on the channel. She has been on the show for 8 seasons. Yes, James Spader is the biggest name on the show. He's the biggest name in the world. However, she has earned her spot on that show as the female lead. She is a lead. She's not a supporting cast member. And she's been there long enough that she should be getting paid more. If that's the reason, and nobody really knows for sure that it is. It's all been kind of just rumors and mumbling behind the scenes. So who knows if that's really true?
Yeah, everything about what's going on in Megan's head on this side of the coin, unless she comes out and speaks about it, like, we may never know for sure all the various nuances that went into her decision. But the big question mark that obviously remains through all of this is we have 2 episodes left. These 2 episodes are supposedly going to give us answers, but now we have on top of that this new challenge of, okay, well, now they have to show us what season 9 is going to look like, since there's going to be one.
Yeah, and it's not easy for a show to pivot missing one of their leads. We saw Castle try to, get rid of their female lead, and that show collapsed on itself. And they had Nathan Fillion, who is a very big star as well, and that show just fell apart so fast. Like, it just did not make it.
No.
But then we've seen other shows like Vikings, which is one of my favorite shows. Spoilers ahead for people who haven't watched Vikings like this. Okay, ready? Okay, so they killed their main character in the middle of the show. And they went on for many more seasons afterwards, and it worked. They were able to make that work. So it's kind of a question mark if they're going to be able to pivot or not. It really kind of depends on, what is the mystery going to be now? If they've wrapped up the main mystery for 8 seasons, like, where do they go?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people were saying, okay, some of the episodes without Liz this season were more than fine, and there were some of them I legitimately liked too, but in the midst of all that, we still knew that we were working towards something, that we were working towards finding Liz and resolving this. Like, Liz was still a part of the narrative push. Like, she was still a major part of it, even though she was off screen. And if you just pluck Liz out of the equation now, what is Reddington just gonna try to take out random blacklisters for no real reason other than that it feels good?
Yeah, like, it feels like the show can't really go back to that formula that they had where Reddington is just bringing blacklisters to the task force. And we saw Pam Baker already basically say, Liz has a burn notice, this whole task force is getting dismantled, so is it possible then that just moving forward, Reddington's going to hire everybody and be like, listen, you're all indebted to me anyways. I've helped all of you out. You've helped me out. You guys are unemployed. I need some people. So why don't we all just work together to sort of catch bad guys on our own without the FBI?
The only other thing I can think about, and I'm not saying I want this, but if they kill off Liz in the finale, I guess season 9 could be about a revenge story for everybody where they come together with like that big sole purpose. But that's really kind of dark that you're going to have Liz for 8 seasons and then just kill her. Like, I don't want that.
No, like, if I had to make a guess, I feel like they're probably going to wrap it up by, having Reddington give Liz sort of the blacklist or everything to do with the archive. Like, I think that part is all going to kind of get wrapped up. I originally thought that the next season was going to be that secret is out, and now, like, all hell is broken loose, and the task force and Reddington and everyone has to deal with all the consequences of that coming out. But if they don't kill off Liz and they want to sort of have her go off, take care of this for Reddington, she is now in charge of this, so we're not going to see her again, but we know she's off doing right by Red, that's a satisfying ending.
I'm happy with that. I think that will have justified the journey. It will all kind of come full circle. But, we'll have more of an opportunity to talk about some of this a little bit down the road. But, for now, we're still processing it. Like, I'm surprised to have this news now, especially so close to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, my feelings on it, I'm really disappointed that there couldn't have been some sort of an agreement reached, whether it's creatively so that Liz's character isn't so hated anymore, whether it's money and they just need to cut costs in other places, which they can, to be, if they really wanted to save somebody, they could just drive a truck of money up to her house. So I'm disappointed that this is where it's gone, because I am very invested in that relationship. I love the chemistry between them and the back and forth. It's always been so good when they're on screen together.
Well, let's hear from you guys.
Let's hear from you.
Okay,
what do you think?
I am disappointed to see her go. I wish that she had an opportunity to stick around a little bit longer, so we had more time to kind of at least lead up to a conclusion. I am also curious to see, though, what the show does from here. Like, I don't necessarily think it has to be a death sentence. However, I am very concerned. I am very worried that this show is just going to sputter off in season 9, and it's going to be like that little stretch of Scrubs where they didn't have Zach Braff, and it just, I think
or the later seasons of The Office without Steve Carell. That was tough.
Yeah, and I just think that you need to figure out a way to have an ending be satisfying and feel kind of full circle. So I am worried. I will give it a chance. I think it's certainly, the writers have earned that after so many years.
Absolutely. We're not going anywhere. We are with the Blacklist till the end.
Yeah, so, we'll be here. We'll give it a chance. I am excited to see what these next couple episodes are. And, of course, now we do want to hear from you guys on all this. And, we're going to go off now. We're going to try to put on our thinking caps, and we'll figure out what's coming up next.
Yeah, and we will be back tomorrow with the next episode. Is only 2 left. They're both on Wednesday, so we will have our review up after that. So yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're still gonna have lots of Blacklist coming up, and you don't want to miss it, and we don't want to miss you.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go feel all of our feelings and try to figure this out, and we will see you here next time.